Why, once I met this guy who knew 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 this guy's cousin.
Oh, we're filling up with Coca-Cola.
In 2012, Etch-a-Sketch decided to go political. Let me explain why. Brief political recap. The presidential nominees for the 2012 election were Romney and Obama running for a second term. One of Romney's aides had this to say about the Republican candidates seemingly changing political stances.
For the fall campaign, everything changes. It's almost like an Etch-a-Sketch. You can kind of shake it up and we start all over again.
Well, the other political candidates ate this up, and before you knew it, you had people like Rick Santorum and Newt Gingrich using Etch-a-Sketches as props during their political campaign tours. And as an Etch-a-Sketch artist, this was fantastic for me. It was also fantastic for Ohio Art, the company that produced Etch-a-Sketch. Sales soared 1,556%, and Etch-a-Sketch was worldwide trending on Twitter. In response, Ohio Art created an entire ad campaign based on the Shake It Up America tour using the slogan, Draw Your Own Conclusion, using a bipartisan approach.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dominic. Happy birthday to you.
Big West.
Wow, good job.
You guys want to see more of my Etch-a-Sketch collection, so let's do it. This section's dedicated to the classic Etch-a-Sketch, so I've got a boatload of them. Also 2 more of these heart ones. This one came out in 1985 and is gold and is called the Executive Etch-a-Sketch, bling bling. My 8th grade algebra teacher bought this for me. I love you, Mrs. Garentz. These Republican and Democrat Etch-a-Sketches were released for the 2012 election campaign. That's a whole story in itself, and I should really dedicate its own video to it. Neat fact, the classic Etch-a-Sketch actually was downsized a little bit in around 2007. Notice how this one's just a little bit bigger. Classics also come in pink. Spin Master actually commissioned me to Etch-a-Sketch the decals that you see on the Monopoly limited edition Etch-a-Sketches, which came out last year and were sold at Walmart. I also Etch-a-Sketched the decals for Stan Lee and Rubik's. I also made a decal for NASA, but they went digital with it for some reason. This stack over here is all Etch-a-Sketches that were released for the 60th anniversary as well. Here's the color Etch-a-Sketch, which was released in 1993 and deserves a video of its own as well. Here's one of my 60th anniversary diamond edition Etch-a-Sketches, which have these really cool diamond-shaped knobs. I have so many more versions of Etch-a-Sketch, but not enough time to cover them in this video. Hi everyone, Princess Etch here. Welcome to my Etch-a-Sketch office. I have been in this office space since January of this year, and I have been a full-time Etch-a-Sketch artist for almost 5 years now. This is the first time I've used an office space to really showcase my love for all things Etch-a-Sketch, and it feels so good as a collector to finally display all of these things that I love. Some highlights from my collection include this blue FAO Schwartz Swarovski Crystal Etch-a-Sketch, this Etch-a-Sketch trophy you see right here, which I won in an Etch-a-Sketch art competition, and so much more. In this area over here, I have bins that are filled with things such as additional Etch-a-Sketches that I use as canvases, and you'd be surprised with how many nooks and crannies are just crammed with all things Etch-a-Sketch. I hope you enjoyed this miniature tour, and I look forward to making more Etch-a-Sketch content. Thanks for watching.
One of the tricks that I love to do, since we are wearing truth, it's nice to balance it out with a little bit of brightness, kind of on the apple. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of that and kind of put it up closer towards my eye. And then you can see that the dark kind of is really beautiful and popping out in a different way. So I kind of like the idea of layering them sometimes. Put a little under the eye.
Hi everyone, welcome to Etch-a-Sketch TikTok. I'm Princess Etch, your local Etch-a-Sketch artist and collector extraordinaire. Today we're going to talk about the 90s. The 90s was a strange and wonderful time for the history of the Etch-a-Sketch, but there is no more 90s in Etch-a-Sketch that could ever conceivably exist than the Super Sounds Etch-a-Sketch. Allow me to demonstrate. Coming straight out of a Nickelodeon fever dream, the Super Sounds Etch-a-Sketch contains this feature, which allows it to make the most annoying sounds on the planet. such as that, and that, and that. When you shake it to erase, it farts at you.
So how did you end it with that guy?
I'll tell you in a second.
How'd you do that?
To the milk. It eradicates them.
Yeah, it gets rid of them, too. Sayonara, Snodrod. Hey.
Good afternoon, everyone. Princess Etch here. Today we're going to do a deep dive into the history of the classic Etch-a-Sketch. Starting off in 1960, you have two different versions of the original Etch-a-Sketch. The main difference is that this one is Canadian, this one is American, and this one contains the Ohio Art logo in the corner. Some of the very first Etch-a-Sketches manufactured in America also did not have that logo. The first classics were released in red, blue, and pink. Here's the pink variant. In the 80s, a rectangle was added around the Ohio Art logo. In the 90s, the knobs were upgraded from this to this. The early 2000s posed major change for the classic Etch-a-Sketch, as it was shrunk down to be a 4x6 screen versus the 5x7 that it used to be. Today's classic Etch-a-Sketch bears a striking resemblance to its original in that it has no more logo on the top left anymore, and it has always kept its classic red. Thanks for watching.
Okay, I don't really talk on TikTok, so this is a bit weird. I wanted to say thank you so much to every person that wished me a happy birthday. I got to see some of your messages. I don't read a lot of comments, but the few that I read were really, really sweet, and I just want you to know that I don't take that for granted. I also want to thank everyone who did contribute even just a penny to the Rare Impact Fund. I could not be more grateful. And I'm 30 and I'm so far enjoying it, and I just wanted to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being in my life, for growing up with me, for putting up with me. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a wonderful evening, night, day, morning, wherever you are.
Hi everyone, Princess Etch here. As many of you are likely aware, I'm really into collecting Etch-a-Sketch. For example, here is one of my Etch-a-Sketch display walls in my office. Here's some teeny tiny Etch-a-Sketches. And here's a few more which all have their own unique story. Today I'd actually like to focus on my pin collection and talk about the artists who created these lovely pins. The first pin I'd love to give a shout out to is the Craft Coven, who gifted this to me, and seriously could not have gifted it to a more applicable person. I mean, I love magical girls, I love Etch-a-Sketch. This pin is based on the movie Elf and is made by Think McFly Think Co. It's nice and big too. This pin, which says Weirdo, is made by Millie Pins. This Fiesta medal is made by S.A. Flavor, and it depicts the San Antonio skyline. This sparkly pin is by Onigiri Art. This Toy Story pin is by Adsprout. This is by Little Goat Paper Co. And these three are made by me.
I just hope you're lying next to somebody who knows how to love you like me. There must be a good reason that you're gone. Every now and then I think you might want me to come show up at your door, but I'm just too afraid that I'll be wrong. Don't wanna know if you're looking into her eyes, if she's holding on to you so tight, the way I did before. I overdosed, should've known your love was a game. Now I can't get you out of my brain. Oh, it's such a shame that we don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore like we used to do. We don't laugh anymore. What was all of it for? Oh, we don't talk anymore like we used to do.
Do you like going to thrift stores and garage sales? Because if so, help me find Etch-a-Sketches. Hi, I'm Jane. I'm an Etch-a-Sketch collector, and I'm looking for obscure Etch-a-Sketches in weird colors. Let me show you some examples. You would be surprised to know just how many shapes, colors, and sizes and different iterations of Etch-a-Sketch have been released in the last 60 years. And as an Etch-a-Sketch collector, I want them all. So if you're at a thrift store and you're looking through the toy section and you happen upon a kind of weird Etch-a-Sketch, please slide into my DMs. Let me know. But probably slide into my DMs on Instagram because I don't get notified here on TikTok. I will do my best to take a look as soon as you see it at the thrift store and let you know if I want to buy it from you, and I will pay for you to ship it to me. And if you already happen to have a really neat looking Etch-a-Sketch and you want to sell it, DM me pics. I want to see that stuff. Please, help me with my Etch-a-Sketch collecting problem. Spin Master released the special edition Rubik's Cube themed Etch-a-Sketch as part of its 60th anniversary, which celebrates the first time an Etch-a-Sketch was sold on store shelves on July 12th of 1960. As an added bonus, the decal that you see on the screen of this Etch-a-Sketch was actually illustrated by yours truly on an Etch-a-Sketch. How fun is that? As an added bonus, I also illustrated the Etch-a-Sketch drawings used on the product packaging for the Monopoly themed Etch-a-Sketch and the Stan Lee themed Etch-a-Sketch. So if you happen to have purchased any of these 60th anniversary Etch-a-Sketches, then you technically own an Etch-a-Sketch drawing created by yours truly. How fun is that? If you've ever felt limited by the traditional 2D Etch-a-Sketching experience, the Tycho Doodle Dome might be for you. Check this out. You've got your verticals, you've got your horizontals, you've got your do whatever the heck you like by turning both knobs at once. But wait! We're not working on a traditional 2D plane, we're working on a sphere, baby! And you might think, wow, that's a lot, but wait, there's more. Check this bad boy out. There is a switch on the center of the Tycho Doodle Dome. When you switch it from on to off, it will retract the stylus inside so that when you switch it back on, the stylus will now begin in a new region of the screen, thus allowing you to work with more than one line. To erase the Tycho Doodle Dome, all you gotta do is hold it upside down and kind of rotate it to wherever there happens to be lines on the screen, and bam, you got a fresh spankin' new Tycho Doodle Dome. Love this bad boy. Love that it exists. Etch-a-Sketch is a unique cylindrical variant of the classic toy. To operate it, you simply stretch the legs and rotate the feet to create lines on the screen. You can press a plunger at the bottom of the feet to retract the stylus and rotate the body and shorten the legs to start a new line on a different part of the screen. When you've finished your Mr. Etch-a-Sketch masterpiece, all you gotta do is take the Etch-a-Sketch and shake it up just like the classic toy.